Okay, so we're going to be playing around in Chaz here some more today. Got a bit more welding up to do. So to finish off welding that in. Not going to bother videoing it, but I've got a few more spots to finish there. Shortly after that, I'm going to finish trimming what I need to, figure out what I got to cut away on all this edge. Because this very bottom edge, you can see where the seam is here. This bottom section is part of the floor. It comes down here and then comes across, goes up like that and then in. This part comes down, curves here, goes in, and it's pinch welded across that flat surface inside that seam. I need to cut the bottom of this away. Probably going to cut at this top edge, giving myself a bit of room to put a new piece in there, weld it in here, and then bring it up to weld, and I'll be welding it back across there. That's kind of the goal. Salvage what we can across here. Gonna definitely have to cut out like this. I cut up above this ridge line, but keep as much as I can without getting into these strength recesses if I can, and open that up so that we can reconstruct all that area once the new floors get here. Give me a bit of fiddling around to get it. Got to grind off some of these edges. This material here on the surface is still part of the floor, so that's got to be ground off here as well. On the inside of the fender there as well. Up here we're good, and up here we're good. I still have to put this piece in this space, which the floor will butt against and it'll weld to. So there's a few things to work on. Still gonna be a busy couple of days. Got the brake parts to finish doing the front brakes. Gonna replace the calipers and get that squared away. That'll probably be caught on tape this week as well. And we're going to get the rear corner installed, at least this one. I'm going to have to do the other side, of course, as well, but these are all things for this week. So my goal this week is to get floors in, rear corners done, brakes done. And fire it up, take it for a spin, see how things are feeling, and start working out some of the whatever we discover needs more attention. Once that's wrapped up, going to start pulling glass, making sure that all the sills are good, clean them up, prime them, repair them, prime them, probably paint them, and then put the glass back in with new seals. That's kind of the focus steps for next. Start to get to beyond a week out, but that's what we're thinking of, and that's what we're working toward. But let's get to it. Hey, welcome back again, everybody. Still in the garage here with Chaz. As I mentioned to you guys before, gonna get the floors and stuff squared away. So we got everything welded up, organized a bunch of the tools and stuff like that. And then I mentioned that we're gonna have a special fake visitor this week. Well, here he is, Mr. Brad Carrier. This is the owner of Chaz, and he's gonna do a little bit of the POR painting in the areas that we welded in. Those two new cross members, got all that finished up. And then we're just going to tidy up, get things squared away, and hopefully put floors in tomorrow. We got to do front brakes. We're going to get on that tomorrow and start prepping everything to close up this back corner. Once floors come, of course, we're going to dive back into that, but that's going to be sometime tomorrow. So we're going to just keep on trucking with it. So, there's Brad, getting started. No rest for the wicked. Here we go. And there we go. Brad did a nice job cleaning everything up in there, give it a nice coat of paint, as you would have seen. And it looks real good. So in the morning, we're going to get the bus prepared, set her up on jack stands. We're going to start working on the front brakes a little bit. We'll do a bit more painting in any areas from underneath the place that we met, just to get all of this metal in here a good treatment underneath. Got a little bit of welding to do at the lower section right there. I didn't weld it to the inside of the frame, front and back on both sides. Let's get done, and there'll be a little bit of painting we can do in there as well. Once that's all dried up, then I'll be able to keep on going and starting to open up this area, preparing for when the floors come later tomorrow. And I can also do some work on this back corner. So open up and get to that D-post, see how high I have to go to be able to reconstruct a D-post. And once the D-post is built in, I'm going to start fitting this rear corner. And it should be good. Yeah, let's do it. All right, Brad's in there. He's going to take the brake calipers off. Going to do brakes, new calipers, and going to do the 73 so light bake conversion kit, which gives you a little bit bigger shoe. Going to clean up the surface rust on the rotors a little bit, some sandpaper, emery cloth, and be good to go. Brad's getting the brakes on the other side, get the calipers fit. I do a little bit of precision machining to get the new calipers on clearance with the rotors. See on the rotor, the spot where we had to kind of clean off some of the rust on the edge, because the rust swelling was rubbing on the edge of the new caliper. So get that cleaned up, keep on going. There's Mr. Brad, checking out the new floor. What do you think?
It's awesome.
So the floor slid into place. Of course, not welded or anything like that, but it's tucked in there. It's fitting in all the way against the inner panels there, and it's tucked away in the corner, fitting nice and tight with that fender. The rear arch, the heater tube protruding through the floor, we kept that intact. So far, so good there. We're just going to keep tweaking and trimming the other side now to get that to fit into place. Once we have them, pull them back out and we're going to mark the beams. I'm going to just draw some lines all the way down where the beams are, and we're going to be drilling 2 holes every valley all the way across the corrugated floor. Then we'll drop it back in place and run the drill bit again just to get any paint off these surfaces on these, and then we'll be doing plug welds from the top side again to weld that all in. It'll get stitch welded across the front here. It's going to stitch weld to the inside of that panel all the way across, and in that little cavity there across the front of the fender and here. Then we're going to rebuild this kind of angled part here, and we're going to be making that out of a couple pieces, but we'll show you what we're doing there too. But we're going to keep trucking. Let's do it. All right, we're just going to be marking these floors with the outside edges of each cross member, so we know where we need to drill the holes in each valley. I mentioned it in the clip earlier. Just going to do this now for the next. So we can drill. We'll do one of the drillings tonight probably. Tomorrow we'll start welding these panels in. Alright, give you a look at what these look like. So this is the floor panel that's going to be going inside there. You can see the lines that we put onto it. We're going to be drilling 2 holes in each of these valleys, 2 holes here, 2 holes here, all the way across for each of the beams, both side panels, and then we're going to be able to weld these in tomorrow. Let's do it. Hey, welcome back everybody. Just kicking off here. Did a few touch-ups this morning. Kind of got that area painted back there. Brad took care of all that in that cavity, so that when we weld the floor in, we're not going to be able to access that anymore. So protecting as best we can with what we have right now. We will be oiling inside there later, as mentioned before, but we want to protect it as much as we can, get everything coated. So all the surfaces that we're not going to be able to access have been repainted, moving all the way along in here. Next step's going to be putting the floors in and starting to weld things up. Here we go. Alright, so we got one of the floor panels all sorted out. Difficult to see, but all the holes are drilled in all the way along. 2 holes in every valley across the beams. Difficult to see. Better. Turn that over. You can see all the holes drilled in across. Took the grinder to clean any little burrs off the backside edges. And then we gave it a coat of paint there, because on top of those frame rails, I'm not going to be able to get to that as well inside. So this panel is ready to go in the bus. Let's do it. Alright, one more thing I just wanted to kind of show you guys. New panel comes. This one is for the passenger side, so it's going to go right along this side of the bus. At the very back edge, there's this lip here. And you can see at the back of the floor, it comes here, it goes up, and it steps in. The piece that's going to go across that back section at an angle, it'll go flat on here, then come up, and then go up at that angle. Kind of like this shape here. So that's the floor, goes in, another flat piece here. These weld together in this spot welds. I'll show you how we're going to do that in our application, because it's very near impossible to get a welder in there. But the other piece I wanted to be able to show you is those heater ducts. They come down from either side. There's a heat exchanger on either side of the engine that'll connect to that. You can open the butterfly flaps inside those tubes farther back with switches on the dash that just cables that open flap or close them. Allows heat to come up this tube to the front of the vehicle for either your footwell or windshield. When you get a new floor panel, it'll come with this all closed in. I put a piece of cardboard in along the edge of that fender and across the floor to cut out that piece of cardboard, made a template for it, set it into this floor, laid it on here to cut out this piece. And in the time-lapse videos when we're fitting the floor, we put it in and out a few times, trimming it away, opening this up until it fit really nice over those heater ducts, because they're part of the system that protrudes through here, so it'll get welded back around that tube along here. If there's any holes or areas that have a bit of a gap, I'll either seam seal or maybe some JB Weld to kind of close that up to make that a nice sealed space. Engine and transaxle right behind that space, so I kind of want to keep that closed up as best I can. And that should be it. But that's how we made this and why we made it this way. As I showed you, all the holes are in it, painted the bottom side, so I'm going to slide that in, fit it onto this side, make sure it's all lined up, and then we're going to weld that piece in, at least tack it in a few spots so it doesn't move, and start prepping the other panel to get it placed across the back. And then we're going to sit here and weld 500 or so plug welds. So for the plug welds, I talked about them before, but here's the hole drilled through. This is going to sit on one of these cross members. For example, this one. Sit on top of this. So in the holes, I'll just put the drill down there to get the paint off. And then I'm going to weld inside the hole to this bottom panel and build up the weld until that weld then secures and closes up the hole. Puddle welding or plug welding is essentially another way to make a spot weld with a MIG to join two panels when you can't get to both sides. Hopefully that explanation helps. At any rate, here we go. we're still going at it here. Got the floors prepared. See the little lines. Started welding this side in. Still got to weld in that side. The side's almost done all the way along the front. 2 welds per. We were doing a count. It's about 507, we think it was, plug welds to secure this floor into the bus. Still gonna have to finish closing in along the very back edge there. Still got a little bit of work to do there. Pretty minor. Gonna have to weld this front edge and back around the arches. And I'm gonna make a part to repair that back piece and close all that in. All of that's likely just gonna happen tomorrow, but it will be in the next video for sure. This is gonna wrap up where we're going today. I'm gonna continue welding and get it finished up. But just wanted to say thanks very much for coming out, watching the videos. Appreciate it. Smash the like button for me if you haven't. Share it for me if you can. Subscribe if you haven't. Show you a little thing here we got. Little coffee mugs. A friend of mine made. Cape Breton. The owner of this bus, Crystal, made that. So a nice little friggin' thing. Got the barcode for the YouTube channel. I don't know if that'll work on a video, but I'll check it out later and see if it does. But got a couple coffee mugs from the channel. Kind of a fun thing to add things. Anyway, thanks very much for watching, everybody. We're going to keep on going here, and we will see you next time. Cheers.